Shakti Dan Kaviya. Shakti Dan Kaviya, 17 July 1940, 13 January 2021, was a poet, writer, critic, and scholar from Rajasthan, India. Kaviya had served as the department head of Hindi, as well as Rajasthani section multiple times at Jai Narain Vyas University. He was considered an authority in Dingal Rajasthani literature, as well as a great scholar of Hindi and Braj-Bhasha. Kaviya was also a Sahitya Akademi Award recipient for his work Dharti Ghani Rupali. Early life and family. Shakti Dan Kaviya was born on 17 July 1940 in Barai village of Jodhpur, Rajasthan. His father Govindan Jai Kaviya was a scholar of Rajasthani Dingal and Braj literature. His maternal uncle, Sahitya Akademi was the Raj Kavi poet laureate of Jaisalmer state. In 1956, Shakti Dan was married to Leher Kanwar of Karoda, Sindh. Kaviya has 5 sons: Virendra Kaviya, Manjit Singh Kaviya, Am Kaviya, Narpat Dan Kaviya, Himat Singh Kaviya, Vasudev Kaviya. Education. Source: Kaviya's school education was completed in Bailsar Government School and Mathania School. For the metric exam, he went to Chapasani School in Jodhpur. During his studies in Mathania School, he was a student under Padma Shri Sita Ram Lalus, who went on to write the first dictionary of Rajasthani language, Rajasthani Savadakos. During his education in Jodhpur, Kaviya actively participated in social literature and debate events, winning accolades for his performance. He took part in Rajasthani and Hindi poetry events as well as translation of English works into Rajasthani. Even at this young age, Kaviya came in contact with important literators and dignitaries. In 1951, when Kaviya was in 5th standard, he started a correspondence with Shankar Danditha Raj Kavi, poet laureate of Limdi Kathiawar state. In 6th standard of schooling, Kaviya published his composition dedicated to Hindu goddess Karni, Mata, titled Shri Karni Yash Prakash, in Sadhna Press, Jodhpur. During his Bachelor of Arts studies in university, Kaviya translated the English poem Elegy by Thomas Gray into Rajasthani and wrote its meaning in Hindi. This Rajasthani rendering and the associated Hindi gist was published in the monthly Preenam magazine in its April edition in 1959. Kaviya was the first student of Iskeas College, Jodhpur, whose poems and compositions were selected for regular broadcast in Akasvani All India Radio, Jaipur. Later, he became an elected member of Akasvani Program Advisory Committee. Kaviya was also active during India-China War of 1962, and his Dingal and Braj poems on the subject were regularly published. In 1964, when Jai Narain Vyas University started publication of its annual magazine, Kaviya worked as advisor of its Rajasthani section. In 1969, Kaviya completed his PhD from Jodhpur University over his research thesis on Dingal ki Aitihasik Prabhanta Kaviya. Career. Kaviya joined Jai Narain Vyas University, Jodhpur, as a lecturer and was a part of the institution for 40 years. For 17 years, he taught as part of Hindi department, and for 20 years, he taught in Rajasthani department. Kaviya was a great scholar of literature. His works focused on Rajasthani, Dingal, Hindi, and Braj literature. Kaviya served thrice as the head of Department of Rajasthani at Jai Narain Vyas University, Jaipur, in 1974-75. Despite the low count of 3 students, Shakti Dan Kaviya accepted the responsibility of teaching the first batch and persuaded students to join the course, ultimately increasing the number of students to 19. He is credited as the first lecturer in the institution's history to teach Dingal literature university-wide. During his tenure as department head of Rajasthani, JNVU University became the first in the world to offer MPhil course in Rajasthani language. In 1993, Kaviya was awarded Sahitya Akademi Award for Dharti Ghani Rupali, which was a Rajasthani translation of 20 poems of Taran poetry by Rainfor Lal Khandelwal. Kaviya excelled at Dingal poetry and promoted it. He gave an introductory recital performance of Dingal poetry at Jaipur Literature Festival and was called Great Maestro of Rajasthani Dingal poetry. Academic usage of Kaviya's works. Source: Rangpini. For the academic session 1976-77, Rangpini by Shakti Dan Kaviya was added to the official textbook for the second-year syllabus of Bachelor of Arts Studies. Litikini. Litikini by Shakti Dan Kaviya, a collection of Rajasthani folk tales in Dingal language, was part of syllabus of M.A. Hindi for 2 academic sessions of 1964-65 and 1965-67. Later, it became a reference book for the subject. Sanskriti Rai Soram. In 1986, Kaviya received the first Suryamal Misran Shakar Award for the essay compilation titled Sanskriti Rai Soram. From 1993 to 2000, the work Sanskriti Rai Soram was part of official syllabus for the Rajasthani optional paper in Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati University, Ajmer. Dharti Ghani Rupali. Kaviya received the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1993 for his poetry work titled Dharti Ghani Rupali. Academic associations. Source: Kaviya was an award decision panel member of multiple literature associations including K.K. Birla Foundation New Delhi, Sahitya Akademi New Delhi, and Lakatiya Awards New Delhi. Sahitya Akademi. Due to his immense knowledge and contribution in Hindi, Rajasthani, and Braj literature, he had been a member of all 3 respective Sahitya Akademis of Rajasthani, Hindi and Braj-Bhasha. Italy tour and Trieste University. In 1987, Kaviya traveled to Italy for the International Literature Seminar as an expert on Dingal. The seminar lasted for 8 days, where he brought attention to Dingal poetry. In Italy, Kaviya also gave a lecture on the contribution of L.P. Tessitori in Rajasthani literature. At University of Trieste, Kaviya gave lectures on Dingal literature. Death. Kaviya died on 13 January 2021 at the age of 80. He had been unwell for the previous few days. Scholars and literators from all over Rajasthan paid their tributes, including Aiden Singh Bati, Gajadan Charan, Mohan Singh Ratnu, Meenakshi Borana, Gaj Singh Rajpurohit, Banwarlal Safar, Sukhdev Rao, and Indradan Charan. Kaviya was equated with son of Dingal language at his passing due to his immense contribution for bringing Dingal language and literature to the next generation. Significance. Kaviya's research works have been translated and published in English, Italian, and Gujarati as well. He has been credited for voracious Dingal recitation in multiple documentaries and telefilms. Awards and achievements. Source: Rajasthan Sahitya Akademi, Udaipur Rajasthani Pedya Puraskar 1982 82, Rajasthani Graduates Association Mumbai Puraskar 1984, Bharatiya Bhasha Parishad Award 1985, Rajasthan Ratnakara, New Delhi Mahendra Jajadiya Puraskar 1986, Suryamala Misran Shakar Award 1986, Maharana Muir Foundation, Maharana Kumbh Award 1993, Shri Dwarka Sevanity Trust, Jaipur, Rajasthani Puraskar 1993, Sahitya Akademi Award for Translation for Rajasthani 1993, Sahitya Samiti, Bissau, Rajasthani Sahitya Puraskar 1994, Ganeshyamadist Saraf Sahitya Puraskar, Mumbai 2003, Fulchand Banthiya Puraskar, Bikaner 2003, Lakatiya Puraskar, New Delhi 2005, Kamala Golkar Rajasthani Sahitya Puraskar, Mumbai 2005, Kavi Shri Kag Bapu Lak Sahitya Award 2013, Mahakavi Prithviraj Rathore Award 2013, Rajasthan Braj-Bhasha Academy Award, Rajasthani language published works. Source: Sanskriti Rai Saram S NSK RTI Rai Som Nib NDHS Ingrai, Saputan Rai Dharti Spayutad, and Rai Dhrti Kavi S Ingrai, Daru Dashana, Dingal Sali Mem Sorathabnata Kavya Daru Dasan, DDI NGL Shalii Mian Sortvabt Kavi Dayuha S Ingrai Shkta Dan Kaviya. Padma Shri Dr. Laxmikumari Chundawat Biography PDM Shri IDDON. LKSmi Kumariya Koindidov Jiv RTT. Dara Sarangi Dhat Dhra Surangia, Dhat Kavi Esengrai. Doran Rai Darohar Dora and Ray Dhra Kavi Esengrai. Prastavana Rai Piljal PR Stavnariya Piljat Rajasthani Nib NDH. Eligi Aliaji Anuvad. Dharti Ghani Rupali Dhrti India Rupali Apida Anuvad. Ruk Rasi and Ro in KHR sign. Sambad Satsai Esenbad SCI, SCI, SCI. Songir Sako. Jeet Gunmal. Durga Satsi Durga Satsai. Hindi language published works. Rajasthani Sahitya Ka Anushalan 1984 Rajasthani Sahitya Ka Anushil Nib NDH Ingrai. Shakti Dan Kaviya, Dingal Ki Aitihasik Prabhan Kaviya Sanbat 1700 c. 2000 Roman 6. 1997. Jodhpur Scientific Publishers. DDI NGL Ki Aitihasik PRV NDH Kavi Shad PRV NDH. Rajasthani Kaviya Mem Samskatika Gaurava 2004 Rajasthani Kavi Mian Sa NSK Artik Gov Nib NDH STR. Editorship of Historical Works. Published research papers in Rajasthani. Source: Published research papers in Hindi. Source: Published research papers in Braj-Bhasha. Source: References